Yes, and welcome to Improv Inside Out, where we talk to guests about the healing power of improv. So now here's your hostesses, improv coach Diane Kettering and therapist Katie Warzel.
Hi, and welcome back to Improv Inside Out, the healing power of improv. I am excited today with our first guest, Jonathan Yeakey. Let me tell you just a little bit about him. I met Jonathan at one of my improv workshops, and he impressed me right away. His comedic timing and just everything about him. He's one of the funniest people I know, actually. So, and I know I just put a lot of pressure on him. And then just, I think it's been a year now, hasn't it?
It has.
And he's a part of the Echo CATT cast. Yay!
And thank you very much for that, Diane. Thank you for having me on here for your inaugural episode.
And yes, our first guest. So I want to ask you, first of all, what got you into improv?
Really just being a shameless attention whore. I've always been a ham. From the third day of kindergarten, I've always been a class clown.
Third day of kindergarten? Day. Like you counted the days and went, this is what I'm going to be funny.
First day, I tried being a jock. Second day, I tried being a nerd. I got really close on that one, but just didn't have the academics for
I'm surprised that one didn't take.
Yeah, well, and then the third day, it was like, oh, okay, I'm class clown, that's for me.
All right, so you get into improv, and was this in college or high school?
I kind of flirted with improv in high school, but I didn't really start getting into it until my freshman year of college, when I saw a flyer for improv auditions and thought I'd throw my hat into the ring and got involved.
What's your favorite part of improv?
Oh man, it's gotta be the laughter.
Isn't that addicting?
It's the most addictive thing about it.
I have a theory that all these young pups who get into Hollywood and get all this attention, and the attention to us is laughter, and that's why they have to go do drugs to get that high, because there's there's no better high than hearing someone laugh at what you say. And it happened once.
The laughter or the drugs?
Someone laughed at me once.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what happened to me on the third day of kindergarten.
I'm just like, come on, just give me a taste. Just
right.
one more.
Like, I need it. I need that fix.
Yes. You do great with Echo CATT.
Thank you. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, you owe me that. So, what I also wanted to talk
so
about...
modest.
You're going to be doing classes for us too, but we brought you on here today to talk about the concept of yes and. So, explain to our audience what that means, because it's the golden rule of improv.
If there's one rule of improv, that's the most important one.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but it's also so vital to making scenes work. So if you're in a scene with someone and they say you're in a bakery, you're in a bakery. If they say that you're on the moon, you're on the moon. Whatever your scene partner says, you go with it, and then you add your own spin to it.
Right. Katie, did you do any research about yes and in the mental health field?
So I have done some. I know, and to be honest, I haven't been able to find the yes and specifically for use, I guess, as a therapist, but I have used it personally.
How have you used it?
So I'm hoping. So, number one, I think using the yes and, it keeps your brain in an open, it keeps your mind open. So it keeps, yes, it keeps your mind open to new possibilities and new ideas. It also, when I'm working with specific populations as a therapist, it's helpful for me if someone maybe has the starting of dementia or has some delusions, those aren't things that we actively contradict, right? It's not beneficial to fight someone on something that they believe is true, which we actually find in our in other relationships as well, right? So I find that this concept, if you can maintain this yes and concept when you're having a discussion with someone, whether they're delusional or not, then it really, instead of shutting someone down, it can keep discussion open, right? And it creates a space for people to share their ideas instead of automatically shutting them down. So it's not, you're wrong. It's, okay, let's consider that and also this information.
So in corporate team building, I teach yes and is good for a scene, right? That helps move the scene along as far as improv. So in life, we all are just, experience one scene after another. So going out and getting the mail, that's one scene. Checking out at a grocery store, that's another scene. And just like you said, remembering to keep your mind open to the yes and concept of agreement. Just being in agreement. Right. What is your favorite yes and game?
I don't know if I have one. Really, I don't know.
I know. There's almost every game is some form of yes and in it.
Right.
Let's build our story on yes and. Let's show them how that works. Okay. But let's put us in. Katie, give us a suggestion of where we might be anytime during the day where we should use the yes and concept. Where Jonathan and I might show up.
Coffee shop.
A coffee shop.
Okay.
All
right. The usual?
Yes, and I noticed you were wearing a brace on your wrist.
Oh, yeah. I poured hot coffee on it yesterday.
Jerry, I told you that maybe this wasn't the job for you.
Well, I just wish I had other options as far as my employment goes.
Yeah, and you know what? You're so smart. You should really try to get out there and see what other opportunities there are. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I was telling my boss, but he said I couldn't take tomorrow off to go job hunting.
Yes, I definitely would take tomorrow off, even if you lose your job. You just have other talents elsewhere. I'm sure of it.
That's why I tried telling my boss, but he said that I don't.
Yes, but that's what happens when you work for your parents.
Man, I wish my mom wasn't such a...
She's tough. She's tough. And scene. So we continuously agreed with each other on what they said. Mm-hmm. Yes, he had a band on. Yes, he's not good at his job. Yes, he should try something else. So we were constantly in agreement. We didn't negate anything the other person said. And that's the concept of yes and in improv. Mm-hmm. Yes?
And.
Yes. Correct. So tell me, you told me that the reason you started our improv class was to sharpen the skills of stand-up.
Correct.
Did that? Yeah. Correct and. So
at the time, I was doing a lot of open mics, and I was just I was very awkward being up on stage by myself.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Huh.
Yeah. And I just kind of wanted to get a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
Because for me, the stand-up is being up on stage all by yourself, and being yourself is kind of the hardest thing for me to be. So when I saw that you had improv classes, I'm like, oh, I'll do it. Maybe I'll meet some other comedy people there. And then it was just kind of like, I think
there's one other. Wasn't there?
Yes. Yeah. There was another stand-up comedian who took the class, and everyone. It was just a eclectic group.
It really was. Yes. And it just kept morphing. What's funny is when I was asked to do the class, the person who asked me said, oh, I have a whole bunch of stand-ups who want to learn to improve their stage presence. I'm like, okay, I'll do the class. And I go there's 2. But we had a lot of people, and they've come in and out, and now we have this group. And it's not that other people can't come, but I would have never put these people together, like going out as a group. I would have never put them together, but they have each other's back. How did you experience that in improv as far as the bond you feel with the people you're performing with?
Just the more you do scenes with different people, the more you kind of get to know them, and you learn so much.
Yeah.
Like on a subconscious level when you're playing improv games with someone. So now it's at the point where I can go up with different people and know exactly where a scene is going to go.
Right.
Before we even start.
Yeah. That's, I think that's so important. Just when we, like even us as Echo CATT as a troupe, I know what I can do with you. We call it pimping it out. When I know he has a talent and I can make the scene work where he has to do that one thing.
Right.
And sometimes when you pimp someone out, it's not about a talent. It could be about a lack of talent just to make it funny.
Right.
But Jonathan doesn't lack any talent, so I can't do that.
Well, you give me way too much credit.
I do. But no, I don't. I joke, but no, I don't. He's great at impressions, I think. Who's your favorite to impress? Or to impress? Well, me.
I mean, not you, obviously.
He does an impression of me. He did that at our workshop one time.
Oh, I want to see it.
Yeah.
All right, where's that script?
Improv.
Okay, so welcome to, what was the name of the show?
Improv Inside Out.
Welcome to Improv Inside Out.
The healing power of
The healing power of improv. I'm Diane Kettering, and Michael, can you see the script down here?
All right, that's enough. Scene.
That's awesome.
You're supposed to do an impression of me, not tell all my secrets. Let's see. One time we accidentally nailed you as Christopher Walken, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he can do Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken. Can I give you a situation?
Sure.
Christopher Walken checking out at the grocery store.
Okay. I gotta get in character. I've got my laundry detergent. And I've got my Tide Pods. They don't seem to be scanning. Let's see. Got my milk. I just put that in the same bag.
I love that Christopher Walken's at a self-checkout.
Hey, he's a busy man.
That's
He can't
true.
wait. He can't wait in line.
For sure.
All right, let's do Sylvester Stallone sitting in a sauna with, who else do you do? John Mahoney.
Wait, John Mahoney?
Yeah. Is that his name?
John Mulaney?
Yeah. John Mulaney. John Mahoney was one of my clients. Okay. Yes. John Mulaney.
All right. So you want me to?
So now you're gonna have to do the Survivor thing and take up space.
All right. So you want?
Oh wait, Katie, you be Sylvester Stallone.
What? I can't be Sylvester Stallone.
It's easy. All you have to do is just be completely unintelligible.
Yo.
There you go. You got it.
Like my intro.
All right. I'm still in Christopher Walken mode. I'm trying to think of how John Mulaney is.
And you're just premiering this character too.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Hello, everybody. John Mulaney here. Got one question for you. Who's got crack? Because I could really go for some crack right now, people. Right.
Look at Katie. You made her Sylvester Stallone like she's afraid to ride the roller coaster.
Oh my gosh! That's already off to a bad start.
But if he was on crack, he'd sound like that.
Yes.
So that is a great job. Good job.
Right.
But we still want to see Katie do Sylvester.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's so jacked.
Can I be John Mahoney? Can I be John Mahoney in a sauna with Sylvester Stallone?
Yes.
Kate Stallone.
Hold on. It's not that kind of show.
Oh my gosh. Sylvester Stallone. I, John Mahoney, love all your movies. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
I'm surprised to see what this Gold's Gym sauna. I figure you would be up in Hollywood making movies.
No, man, I like to sweat it out.
I can tell. You're glistening all over.
Man, that's what makes my muscle so shiny.
Well, here. I, John Mahoney, will get my cell phone. Do you mind if I take a selfie here? All right. Cheese. All right. Thank you very much.
And sing.
Yay.
You nailed it, Katie. I thought it was right here with him. I was just dun 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 dun.
Thanks. It's all those improv skills.
It is.
Your Sylvester Stallone was better than my John
Mahoney.
better than my John Mahoney, but also better than my John.
Oddly enough, you nailed John Mahoney. That was him.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Is he watching?
I sure hope not.
We didn't lose a client.
But he would definitely
Sweet.
recognize himself in that. Improv Inside Out is also about the healing powers of improv. Is there anything that you can think of that has affected you in that manner with improv?
Yeah, so it's made me into a more confident performer. It's also really helped me out as far as giving me a proper outlet to channel.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was telling you both about how I was a class clown.
Right.
After you graduate...
No one's hiring a class clown.
It's true. Well, because so you're a class clown until you graduate, and then you either become a performer,
Right.
or an office cut-up.
Yeah, or serial killer.
Or a serial killer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so three things.
Yeah.
So, like, I would go to work, and I would find myself going into office cut-up territory.
Yeah.
And just, like, I was being annoying, basically.
Right.
Because I didn't have a proper outlet to channel my buffoonery. And so, having improv as an outlet just helped me be a more rounded person and a better employee.
And probably a big favor to your coworkers.
Yes. Because now I can invite them to our shows and I not annoy them in the middle of the day.
Oh, not in the middle of the day.
Right.
Yeah. I love that they come to our shows. I have a good time. It's great that they come out and see you. And it's great that you came out to see us. Thank you for that. Before we end, we like to, I act like we've done this. You're our first guest. All our other guests, we want to ask a question off the cuff because everything is just so improvised here and see what your answer is. Are you game? I dare you
Yes,
to say,
and.
I dare you to say no.
No, why? No, and why should I?
That's true. That's true. Well, because we have you in this really hot room with the door closed.
I mean, sauna was the perfect suggestion.
All right. Well, hold on. Let me generate our question.
Oh, is that the suggestion-o-matic 5000?
Yes. We spared no expense on this. So, Jonathan.
Diane.
Jonathan.
Diane.
Jonathan. If you could go back and redo a scene in your life, which one would it be? Oh, that was good.
Man, that's deep.
That was
Wow.
really good.
That question,
Man.
Matic 5000.
A scene in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about, like, real life, not on stage.
Not on stage. You know how I just said the whole thing about there's a bunch of scenes in our life where you're paying attention? Listening is a big skill in improv. Were you listening?
To what?
Great.
Man. You're asking some hard questions here. I wish I had some time to think about it.
Well, improv usually lets you go back and think and go, oh, you know what I wish I would have said?
Well, yeah, exactly. Actually, I'll just go ahead and say college.
Yeah?
I wish I could go back to my college improv group with what I know now.
Yeah.
Because I participated in the college improv group. I wasn't good at it. I wasn't a good scene partner. And I often wonder how much further I could have gone if I knew then what I know now.
Oh, that's a good answer. I like that.
That's a good answer. So, along those lines, what would you say, what do you feel like your life would have been without having this improv experience? Because it was something that was a connection for you as far back as high school, right? Mm-hmm. So, can you imagine what your life might have been like without it?
Just very mundane, very ordinary. Because when I first started taking your classes, it was right at the tail end of COVID.
Right.
And I was anxious all the time, and one of the things that got me into doing stand-up and then later improv was because I was deemed an essential worker, and I'm going into work every day.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just, like, super stressed out, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I like, this is, if I'm going to be risking my life, potentially risking my life going into work during a pandemic.
Right.
If I died at work, what would it have been for? Gave me a proper outlet and gave me something to work towards. It's helped me with my anxiety.
Yeah.
Because when someone gives you a suggestion, ready or not, you got to go with it.
Right, absolutely.
And it's really taught me how to accept whatever answers come out of me.
Okay.
Right.
So, because I mean, how many times do we go through life and say, "Oh, I wish I should have said this. I should have done that."
Yeah.
Right.
But improv is such a off the cuff kind of thing.
Supposed to be.
Right.
Supposed to be, where it's like, okay, if I'm going to say this, if it makes sense, great.
Yeah.
If not, that's fine too.
Right.
Move on.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, just like you said, it helps with anxiety. In improv, you have to focus on what's right in front of you. You don't have time for anything else. It's what's here, what's going to make the scene work. And usually in improv, I don't know if you are, I am inside my head now. I'm inside on this moment. And I can't think about, is someone sick? Is it possible to get sick? Is there, are my kids being fed?
Yeah. Well, because like in our day-to-day life, there's so many what ifs. What
Absolutely,
if this? What if that?
Right.
But when you're doing improv games, when you're doing improv scenes, you don't have time for the what ifs. You just have to stay present and stay in the moment and give yourself leeway. And that's one of the great things about being involved in an improv group, is that you see people at their rawest.
Yes.
And because you give people a suggestion and some weird things will come out.
Yeah.
And when you see that, that makes you feel better about your own weirdness.
That is true. And I think improv is the big what if. And there is a what if right there on stage, and we work through it. And it's okay. It's safe at the other end. We got through that what if. We do something at the end of each workshop called either the positivity circle or the gratitude circle. And we always have one that says, thank you for my therapy. But there are always so many who just say it in a different way. I really needed this tonight. I almost didn't come because I was having a bad day. And that's just like me. I almost didn't come because I was having a bad day, and now things look different.
Right. I think when you mentioned safety, I think that's one of the things that I've noticed the most about improv. It's safe to be weird, and it's safe to have those unusual thoughts, that we all have them.
Yes.
But I think there are times when we think, okay, I'm a freak because I thought that.
Right. Right.
And those are the things that fuel our anxiety. And make us nervous to speak or to be ourselves.
Yeah, because you're always questioning yourself. You're always thinking, I don't want to say this because they're gonna think less of me because of it.
Absolutely. And the safety that's fostered within the improv group allows people to practice that and receive the acceptance, so that when you step out of the group, you've got the confidence.
And giving yourself permission that there are no wrong answers. Because, we could do a scene together and it may not be funny, but that's okay.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be funny.
Right. The something you made me think about was when we're doing improv, no matter what, we're outside of our comfort zone. And then we come back in, and either they're laughing with us or applauding us. So it's like, okay, well, we got to do that, and it was safe to come back in. And I will say our Wednesday nights, our group, we get so many compliments from new people of, I couldn't believe how welcoming it was. I wasn't afraid to try something. And then they're really impressed with themselves and feel good about themselves that they did.
Right.
We have a rule of you have to participate in the very beginning of our improv workshop, which is the circle. And we're all doing the same thing, so it's not terribly intimidating. Once we do the stage work, it's up to you if you want to go on stage or not. But there's no spectators because it feels like voyeurism. If we're getting out of our comfort zone and you're just sitting there going, then it feels judgy. And I tell people you don't have to go on stage, but I encourage them to, because they'll come to me later and say, I know I told you not to push me, but I'm so glad you did.
Right.
And they feel so much better about themselves.
Absolutely.
Well, Diane, if there's something you're good at, it's getting people uncomfortable and out of their comfort zone.
Thank you. Thank you, John Mahoney. He said that same thing to me.
Did he really? Oh, dang. I was like, okay,
yes,
my impression's getting better.
Nailed him again. Well, thanks again for coming out and being our first guest.
Yes, thank you, Diane. Thank you, Katie.
Of course. Thanks, Jonathan.
Being the guinea pig. But I'm glad it's you. I feel so comfortable around you. And I cannot tell you, I know I tell you this all the time, but I am so happy you're part of Echo CATT. Every time I see you, it's like, oh yay, Jonathan's here.
I'm so happy to be a part of it, and I'm always psyched to be a part of improv, being a part of whatever
I say.
Whatever crazy project you have going on.
Hey, a podcast.
Why not?
Why not?
Yes, and.
Perfect ending. Thank you, Jonathan. And join us next time when we'll be doing something with someone who knows, because it's improv.
That's right. See you next time.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Improv Inside Out. the healing power of improv. Until next time, we hope you stay happy and healthy inside out.
Okay. And I'm Diane, your improv host. Today, we're here to give you a taste of what you can expect from our podcast. Michael, can you see the script? How about now? Can you see it now?